Recording in progress.
Larry is up. Okay, so this is also, so you're welcome no matter what. You're welcome if you're tired. You're welcome if you went to Joshua Tree before. You've never been to Joshua Tree. You can't wait to go camping sometime. You don't like camping. You rather do something else. You're welcome if you're crabby this morning. You're welcome if you forgot to eat. You didn't have breakfast, or you didn't have any food, or you did have food. You're welcome if you got up on the wrong side of the bed, or if you're flying on the wings of eagles. You're welcome here at the church in Ocean Park. We begin with an acknowledgement that we are sitting on stolen land. Here in Santa Monica, we are sitting on the land of the Tongva, the Quiche, and the Chumash peoples. The land was stolen violently from them, and they took, in the doing so, they took not only people's lives, but also cultures, moved them around, and did all kinds of really disgusting things to the folks that were here. But they are still here. They're among us, and we pay tribute to them and honor them. We are sitting on their land. We are also on the land that was built by people who were stolen from Africa, taken and enslaved into bondage. And those folks who were taken and rebuilt our country and our communities, and the land that has never been repaid. So in our acknowledgments of both of those things, we commit ourselves to building a more equitable community. We also want to realize today that we are coming upon the end of Ramadan, which we don't know if it will be Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, depending on when they sight this moon, correct? Okay, wrong, tell me.
Eid al-Fitr is Wednesday.
Wednesday.
It's consistent with 30 days after the sighting of the moon previously.
Oh, okay, so it doesn't have anything to do with the sighting.
Yes, we don't wait for another moon to be sighted.
Okay, that's a myth that's going around. The myth that we don't know. We actually do know when Ramadan ends. Thank you. So we can be planning the big meal. We don't have to wait to plan. So thank you for that. And we begin with a Thich Nhat Hanh chant, which is, I have arrived, I am home, in the here and in the now, 3 times. I have arrived, I am home, in the here and in the now. I have arrived, I am home, in the here and in the now. I have arrived, I am home, in the here and in the now. Welcome to the church in Ocean Park.
We are crossing the water our whole life through. We are making a passage that is straight and true. Every heart is a vessel, every dream is a light, shining through the darkness of the blackest night. We are crossing the water our whole life through. We are making a passage that is straight and true. Every heart is a vessel, every dream is a light, shining through the darkness of the blackest night. For there is no shallow water, and naught but love to keep us safely from the dangers and the devils of the deep. and with every breath within us, we search forevermore to find some peaceful harbor on that far-off shore. We are crossing the water our whole life through. We are making a passage that is straight and true. Every heart is a vessel, every dream is a light, shining through the darkness and of the blackest night. For some it is a glory, for some it is a game, for some it is a story filled with emptiness and pain. But as raging winds in chorus, we search for steady ground. There is only that before us, there can be no turning round. We are crossing the water our whole life through. We are making a passage that is straight and true. Every heart is a vessel, every dream is a light, shining through the darkness of the blackest night. Oh, there is no other journey that will ever be the same, no second chance horizon that will call you by your name. When the welling waves wash over you and stormy winds they drive, give your heart a song, sing it loud and long, and keep your dreams alive. We are crossing the water our whole life through. We are making a passage that is straight and true. Every heart is a vessel, every dream is a light, shining through the darkness of the blackest night.
Good morning, everyone. Glad to be here and to be able to share with you a short message today as well. Quo vadis, where are you going? Where are you going? I want to start with a brief meditation, just a short poem, and you may close your eyes if you so desire. This is the poem. Close your eyes and look inside. A mirror shines within. To find where you are going, first see where you have been. Where are you going? I saw someone had a title Grandpa on his shirt today. Grandpa. There's a little story about a grandma and a grandpa. And they were sitting outside on the porch in their chairs. And grandma says to grandpa, reach out and take my hand. You remember how you used to reach out and take my hand? And grandpa reached out and took grandma's hand. And they felt good. A little while after, grandma says again, do you remember when you used to kiss me on the cheek? And grandpa reached over and kissed grandma on the cheek. They felt good. And then she comes again, a third time. You remember when you used to nibble on my ear? And grandpa got up and walked away. And alarmed, grandma says, where are you going? And grandpa replied, to get my teeth. I've decided today to try and look at a similarity between some passages in the Hindu epics of the first century in the Christian era and the events of after the resurrection in the Christian era. And I find that both of them are very similar in many respects. And they sort of answer my question, where are we going? Or where are you going? Today, or at least not today, but Wednesday, I think Tuesday or Wednesday, begins the Hindu New Year. In some areas of the Hindu religion, the New Year begins on Wednesday. We have the new moon on Tuesday, and I found this interesting. The Ramayana also begins this week. Ramayana is the exile and journeys of the Hindu priest Rama. This is one of the largest epics in the world literature and consists of nearly 24,000 verses divided into 7 kandas or chapters, separated by teachings on the goals of human life. So the Ramayana, the teachings or the journey of the Prince Rama, continues, or at least begins this week. The epic narrates the life of Rama, the prince of the kingdom of Kosala in India. The epic follows a 14-year exile into the forest, urged by his father, King, let me see if I can pronounce that word, Dasharatha. King Dasharatha was the father of Rama, and the king sends his son into exile at the request of Rama's stepmother. So there was some problem in the family, there was some upheaval in the family, and they sent Rama into exile. And what about his wife Sita? What would he do with his wife? Where would she go? Sita, he finds her preparing some things as though she was going to go on a journey herself. And so Rama asks his wife Sita, where are you going? Where are you going? And Sita insisted on being exiled with her husband and his travels across the forest in the Indian subcontinent. So both of them go off in exile into the forest, and along the way, Sita, his wife, is kidnapped. And after learning about Sita's kidnapping, one of the Hindu deities, Hanuman, and Hanuman, a Hindu deity, assumes a gigantic form and makes a colossal leap across the seas outside of India. And a demon tests his abilities as he goes across the seas. He encounters a mountain, and the mountain offers him assistance and rest. But Hanuman refuses because there is little time remaining to complete the search for Sita, Rama's wife. He defeats the demons, and after some intrigue, Sita is reunited with Rama. It is believed by many that when Rama returned, people celebrated their happiness with diyas, little lights, and the festival of Deepavali, or in short, Diwali, begins as people celebrate the return of Sita and Rama. from exile after 14 years. And so I found that this story has some meaning for the story of the New Testament as well. This woman preferred exile with her husband to usher in a new world for their Hindu communities. In the biblical sense, we have the 14-year exile of many of the Christians and disciples under the 14-year reign of Nero and later Domitian. Like Rama's exile, we have John's exile to Patmos. In Patmos, we have the same epic poetry and narrative and the appearance of demons and so on, and all this apocalyptic literature that we have in the book of Revelation. We have that coming from John, exiled on Patmos during the 14-year exile of the Christians. So during Nero's rule. So I found this very interesting. We have the enigmatic figure of Peter also. Peter, upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. But what type of rock was Peter? A very unstable rock. Very unstable. He denies Christ 3 times. Jesus says to him, there will come a time when you will deny me. When the cock crows twice, you will deny me 3 times. Peter said, never, I will never deny you. I will never forsake you. When the time came, he denied him, said he never knew him. One of the best affirmations about Christ, about Jesus, came from Peter himself at one time. He said, thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. There was no ever better illustration of who Jesus was than this. But then Peter falls again because he refuses Jesus' baptism. He refuses Jesus washing his feet. And he said, no, Lord, you can't wash my feet. No, that can't happen. And then later on he said, oh, wash my feet and my hands and my head. There was an inconsistency and wavering about Peter. And then during this 14-year exile, he tries to get away. And on his way out of Rome, he spots Jesus going in the opposite direction, going back into Rome, into the state of upheaval that was there in Rome. And Peter sees Jesus and he says, Domine, quo vadis? Lord, where are you going? And Jesus said, I'm going back to be crucified again. That is his vision that Peter had. He says Jesus is going back to be crucified again. And Peter said, no, that can't happen. Peter realizes that he's going in the wrong direction now, and he goes back into Rome. And he not only goes to be crucified, he says, you almost crucify me upside down. It is upon such a person, such a personality, that the church is built. I find that fascinating and intriguing. So the main similarity in this Hindu and Christian text is how God uses strange people. He uses a strange church to bring about the experiences of these different religious groups and religious expressions. Rama's family sent him into exile, and he opened a way when there was no way. John and Peter, John in his epic visions and Peter in his instability, make a way where there seemed to be no way. So my question is, in this post-Easter season, where we too face many demons, where we too may face many inconsistencies, where we too may face many difficulties, many frustrations, the question comes up. Do we ask ourselves, where am I going? Where are you going? Do we have an answer? Where are we going? I believe this year, as the year comes to a close later on, October, November, December, January, next year, there's going to be a lot of confusion, a lot of confusion, a lot of chaos. And we are going to ask ourselves, well, we need to ask it from now, where am I going? I think answering it for me is a question I had many years ago, even before I came into ministry. I remember in high school, I got into a fight with another student. And he, right in the classroom there, class is going on. And he looked across to me and gave me a cuff with his hand, and he cursed my mother. And that's the worst thing you could ever have done, to curse my mother. He said, my mother so and that was the worst thing he could have done. And I got so angry and so vexed that I jumped out of my seat. And I lifted benches and throw benches on him. And I beat him up in the class, right there where school is going on. And my father, I remember, I could see it quite plain. My father was standing there talking to the principal later on, begging the principal perhaps to keep me in the school. And I was kept in the school. That's one thing I remember my father did for me. That one thing. He kept me in school. But 2 weeks later, I wasn't seeing the young fellow in class. And one day, nothing was said, and one day I asked the teacher, where is Balfour? That was his name. I remember his name. Where is Balfour? I haven't seen him for a couple of weeks. And he said he was sick. He was in psychiatric hospital. And I felt that I had put him there. I felt that I had put him there. Because we never knew him to be sick. At least I never knew him to be sick, really. So the next day, I went to the hospital and visited him. The psychiatric hospitals there in Trinidad were not the nice, pretty places that you have here. Not like that at all. It was a cell, really. And you had to the chief had to come and get a key to open for you to go in. And he had to stand up outside while you were in there for security. So I went in and spoke with him for a while. And after that, I started visiting patients in the hospital on my own. And the staff, when I graduated from high school, I worked at the same hospital. I had 2 invitations, one to teach primary school students, and one they asked me if I would be willing to work at the psychiatric hospital. I took the hospital because I never thought I had the patience to teach young people. So I took the hospital, and while I was in hospital, I visited people, and everybody was surprised because visiting mentally ill patients, nothing happened, no patient ever misbehaved and got excited and tried to attack me or anything. And I was very not good with the patients, so they allowed me to keep visiting patients in the hospital while I was doing my usual duty, which was helping to make pay sheets for staff. I was the pay sheet clerk. So between the pay sheets and the patients, that was my work. And I've worked in hospitals all the time. Up to now, I'm working in hospital. I'm a chaplain. You know, I've passed my 79th birthday already, and I'm still working in hospital. I find working in the hospital, that is what I feel that is what I'm called to do. I never felt that I was not responsible for my friend's illness. I had psychological sessions with psychologists when I was studying for chaplaincy in Alabama for 3 years. That's where I started chaplaincy for 3 years in Alabama. And while there, you had to have a counselor, you know, and I mentioned this same incident and so on, and they said, oh, well, that's not your fault. He was already ill, you know, you didn't know it, but he was already ill a long time, and so on. So no matter what the psychologist said, no matter what psychotherapist said, I still believe that I put him there. So that's part of my journey. That's part of my journey. In hospitals, people ask me, Chaplain, where am I going? Some of them ask me, where are we going? In other words, where is the country going? Where are we going as a people? Black patients sometimes, Chaplain, where are we going as a people? You know, we hear a lot about getting repaid for lands that were stolen from us and so on. Do you think that is really going to happen until our own people come together? Where are we going? I have a lot of challenges, a lot of questions. And despite people's illness, despite their pain, despite their cancers, despite their complications, they still want to live. They still want to live. Despite all that they are suffering, they want to continue their journey because I am somebody. They say of themselves, I am somebody. And as long as I can open my eyes, as long as I can hear somebody speak, I have to keep on this journey. Where am I going? I don't know. Where are you going? Let us reflect on that question and recognize that despite our own instabilities, despite our own inadequacies, despite our own incompleteness, God is moving us forward. God is preparing us for a brighter day, a new year, a new life, leading us in a new direction. And as we go forward, As we ask that question, we pray that like Rama, the prince, like Peter, the apostle, like many others who came after, we continue to walk the walk and talk the talk and preach the word as we go forward, knowing that we don't know where we are going. We are going. Heaven knows where we are going, but we'll get there. So Nate will play that song for us at this time.
We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know we will get there. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know we will get there. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know we will get there. Boom, boom, ti-boom, ti-boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, ti-boom, ti-boom, boom, boom. We will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will get there. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know we will get there. Boom, boom, ti-boom, ti-boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, ti-boom, ti-boom, boom, boom. It will be hard, we know, that the road will be muddy and rough, but we will get there. how we will get there, but we know we will.
That was beautiful. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Nate. Beautiful. Let's take a deep breath. That was beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so much. We will get there, guys. Heaven knows how. But we'll get there. I know we know what that brings up so much for just those words. So now it's time for community sharing. So you have an opportunity to make a statement, or not that kind of statement, just like a casual statement. Or not a statement that everybody has to sign and you have to, this is regular statement. Or you can ask a question. Yeah, Jerry.
Thank you, and well, it was very touching talk about what happened, and I find it very commendable that you went to visit this person. But the question I'd like to ask is, because the way I see it, it's probably, almost certainly, you were not the one that put him in the hospital. But what the question I have is, have you ever seen him again or talked to him again? And would you like to be able to get to a different place so that you don't feel responsible? Or is there some reason that you're keeping that feeling?
Yes, I saw him after that. He came back to school after a while, and we talked, and, you know, we were good friends still. But I still had that feeling that if I had not reacted in that way, things might have been different. And I think since then, I have never been into a fight. I think my whole personality changed, because since then, nothing gets me angry. Nothing has been able to get me angry since that time. That's true. And people say, oh, I'm always, nurses and the doctors appreciate my work because they say I'm always calm. And when I go to family meetings with family, and the families, I'm always calm, and I could bring some calmness and a measure of, you know, so I don't know, maybe that had to happen for me to have this type of personality. You see, it's like talking about Peter and his ups and downs, you know. And even when it came to crucifixion, oh, crucify me upside down because I wasn't too good in my life. So he went to those extremes. But sometimes when you do that, it's sort of, some strange things happen in your life that help you to become the person that you ought to be, you know, and we can't say sometimes what it is, but I think that was one of the things that made me equipped for ministry in this sense.
I think that kind of answers a lot of why we can't even picture you doing that, you know?
A question and a comment. The question has to do with the festivity, because the new moon starts Tuesday, and consistent with Ramadan, Eid is Wednesday. Does the Hindu festival go by the lunar calendar as well? Or is it more of a solar thing in which it happens at different points of the year? I say that to say, you know, the moon doesn't make its cycle in 365 days. It's 350 some. So I'm wondering specifically, does that Hindu festival coincide with the lunar calendar? My comment is that, as you say, you know, where we're going, if we go into a question where we all don't agree, what becomes essential is the whole question of civility. And I would hope that faith-based groups would have a line in terms of determining what that civility is, even if we disagree on that.
Well, I think there are different practices throughout the Hindu religion in different areas. So the practice is not the same for every community, for every region. So I think, and this epic started really from about 300-400 BC, and it went right into 3 and 4 AD. So it's a whole long tradition that, you know, changed with the different times. I'm not sure, but that's what I figure.
This is an interesting question. Where are we going? I recently started working part-time at my chiropractor's office to make some money to pay off some debts. I've been doing training for life coaching, and it's been expensive, and I need to pay it off. Anyway, it turns out that the person who's training me is not a good communicator and not a good trainer. And I have to beg her to show me things a second time. She's an example of the very worst teachers I have ever taught beside. The very worst. So, you know, if I say, I can't remember how to turn on this electric typewriter, she says, I showed that to you every time. And I was searching for ways to talk to her to get around this. And then finally, the AT&T internet went out. So the little square thing for bringing in the money when the clients were leaving, that went out. And the phone went out because it was connected. And then the computer went out, so everything was gone. And I was trying to maintain everything while the chiropractor's in the back treating people. And so she said, well, why didn't you turn on the hotspot on your phone? And I said, well, I don't know how to do that. And then at this moment, the chiropractor walks in. I know this is long, but there is a point. The chiropractor walks in, and she turns to her and says, why didn't you turn on the hotspot? She says, oh, I don't remember how to do that. And this woman just flares up and says, you guys are so lost, and walks out of the room. No, this is the woman training me. You guys are so lost. She's about 40 years old, so she's on the young side compared to me and the chiropractor. And I don't know if hurt is the word, but I was kind of wounded because I had just walked in the day before, and I was new, and all this chaos is happening. And we're wondering, you know, is it because of the solar eclipse, or is it because of Mercury in retrograde, which I guess is happening too? And so I'm thinking, while I'm working, and we're trying to do everything by hand, I'm thinking, what am I going to say to this woman? Am I just going to put up with this, or am I going to say something? And of course, I've been in this church where we respect each other's dignity, and we try to talk to each other with respect. And I've raised my children that way, and Gary and I have tried to work together that way, and I've tried to teach that way. And so to think that I have to spend 8 hours with this woman is almost intolerable. So the next time there's kind of a lull, I go up to her and I said, you know, I just need to tell you that I'm not very good at tech. I'm good at programming and using a computer when I know how to use it, but I don't have a really good overview of tech. And I'm very capable, so I just felt that it was not respectful of you to say that when you left the room. And so it was very low level kind of statement. And she flared up again and she said, "Are you that sensitive? Are you that sensitive?" And then she went off on me. And I thought, you know, here I've been learning all this stuff about life coaching and about being respectful to people in all these areas of my life, and I don't know how to function here. And I realized that I was maybe a little bit not misinformed. I'm looking for a word, maybe you can help me. That I was going to somehow teach her how to be different with me, and she was not ready to do that at all. So what ended up happening was she stormed off and said, "Just learn everything yourself then." And she wasn't going to spend time with me at all, which is what she's paid to be there for. So then I ended up doing what sometimes I do. I swallow my pride and I go and I apologize. And I said, "I'm really sorry that I upset you, and you're right, I was way too sensitive." And inside my head is going, "I wasn't too sensitive, I just wanted to be respected." Anyway, what the purpose of my saying all this is that we've been talking a lot here about how to talk to people who are different from us, and sometimes it is really, really challenging. And especially with all this stuff that you're talking about, the chaos that's going to be coming with the end of the year, we have to figure out ways to do it, but not think that just because we're being gentle and respectful that people are going to listen to us.
With respect to the question, where am I going? It occurs to me, if the world was much less changeable than it is, it would be easier to answer the question. Like you're a young person and things are going to stay pretty much the same, and I could pick out my destination and sort of follow the prescribed directions, and I'd probably get there. But the world is changing very rapidly, more and more so. And the other day I was interviewing Roger Gaughan, who will be one of our Communitas honorees. He's a student at UCLA, and he's majoring in ecological science. He's very aware of what's happening with climate change and so forth. And we were sort of joking together a little bit, and he said, "You know, it's going to be hard to get what I say down to the 500-word limit because I'm very talkative." And he's a brilliant young guy, and he does have a lot to say, but I sort of jokingly said, "Well, just imagine, at least, Roger, you're 21 years old. Imagine you were getting awarded 40 years from now or 50 years from now, how much harder it would be to get your bio down." And he said, "It's very hard for me to imagine that far into the future because, you know, he's anticipating catastrophic change, and I'm afraid he's being very realistic. And I'm just aware that plotting where you're going is getting harder and harder for young people because the world is changing. And November is going to be chaotic, but further down the road, there's going to be a lot more chaos to navigate. And I feel for those who will be dealing with that.
Just want to let you know that next weekend there will be a group here, young people training what to do in the event of climate crises. Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, they're training them to be ready. Yeah. Is there other, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for that wonderful, wonderful talk. I just wanted to thank you. And Balfo, I will never, that's his name, right? How important he was? Balfour. I was thinking metaphorically from the song that Larry sang about in the darkness and in the blackness. And when things change, or when we change, one of the scariest things, I think, is am I going to change so much that I'm going to end up in a place where I don't recognize anything? I won't. There's nothing will be a metaphorical sign. There'll be no road sign. And I thought about mercy. And I thought about how we develop spiritually somehow into mercy for ourselves and each other. And I was thinking about, Jean, your story. And respect, looking for respect from outside. Sometimes we just won't get it because what we're projecting to the other person doesn't, So we carry our own, if we can, some anchor of self from the soul, and that's how we get our guidance. And then we can meet people where they are sometimes. And sometimes we can't. And I was just, I love this community because we can talk about things like that and be with it. And that helps us recognize that we're going somewhere and we won't be turned back, even when it's dark. Okay, thank you.
We got Abby on Zoom.
Okay, Abby?
Yeah, I just realized that I'll be 84 years old in a couple of weeks, and I'm still asking that question. Where am I going? What is there still left to do? But what I really want to talk about is Lou Gossett Jr. died last week, and I remember watching Roots, and he played the character Fiddler in that miniseries, and Fiddler was a slave who entertained white people by fiddling a hoedown. And the main character, Kunta Kinte, was Alex Haley's ancestor. And he, his enslavers, I guess is the word, wanted him to have a new name, Toby. And he didn't want that name. He was Kunta Kinte, and he was going to be that. And so they beat him up. And, he was there, beat up physically and emotionally, and Fiddler comes and says to him, Kunta, you know who you is.
Yeah. Thank you, Abby. Are there others on Zoom who want to speak? Nope. Okay. Anybody else here? All right. The one, what I love this community also for all the nuances that we, there's no easy, life isn't easy. We're all multidimensional, and we all have things that we carry, and we try our best to, with the skills that we have, but other people, we're not in control of them. And so, but we all carry something. Like Joseph is carrying something, and we all have something that has made us who we are. We all just don't know who that is, like what that is in our past. And some of the things we can get rid of, and some we can't, and some we don't. Some we choose not to, and some we just can't. So we're going to take a moment of silence, and then it's going to be broken by a song by Larry.
Been thinking about the disciples after Jesus had been crucified and died and come back, but they must have thought, am I dreaming? Yeah. Did I dream all of that? And then they went out, and I had to follow that dream. And, it feels, a dream is often, connected with our deepest feelings. And they'd just been with the Prince of Love for a long time. And then they went out and looking for a world of love in a world that was falling apart. If your heart is restless from waiting so long, if you're tired and weary and you can't go on, if a distant dream is calling you, then there's just one thing you can do. Follow that dream wherever it may lead. Come on, follow that dream to find the love you need. Come on, follow that dream. Now I've been searching for a heart that's free, searching for someone to search with me. I need a love I can trust. Together we'll search for the things that come to us in dreams, wherever they may be. Come on, follow that dream to find the love you need. Come on, follow that dream. Now each of us has the right to live, the right to a chance to give what we have to give, the right to fight for the things we believe, for the things that come to us in dreams. Yeah, follow that dream wherever it may lead. Come on, follow that dream to find the love you need. Come on, follow that dream. Come on, follow that dream. Come on, follow that dream.
Thank you.